Hello there and welcome back to a brand new episode of I don't know what to call this series. Probably we'll call it Let's Take a Walk because walking is healthy, and we're also going to be talking while walking. Ain't that cool? Anyway, there's Anna working on something super cool and awesome, which I'll show you later, spoiler alert. And yeah, let's go. So, let's get started. The thing that most people get wrong is that the human voice is arguably the most difficult instrument to play properly. And you can't really fault them because the voice is also the easiest and most probably the first instrument anyone is ever going to play.
Because...
Why is that?
Because...
You already have it, obviously. Anyway, while it's easy to pick up, it's very, very hard to master. And why is that?
Because...
The human voice is unpredictable, very unpredictable. Take guitar, for example. When you're first starting out, you don't know the scales or the chords or how to properly hold your pick. But once you finally learn that stuff, it's pretty much there to stay. Because a G chord is still going to sound like a G chord 5, 10 or 15 years later. But when you're talking about the voice, that's a whole different story.
Because...
You may be able to hit a note today that you probably cannot hit tomorrow. Why is that? I keep saying why is that, don't I? That's because your voice is affected by your hearing, and your hearing is affected by your environment and listening volume. And your voice is also affected by your throat, your nose, your lungs, and a million other different factors. It's basically an ever-changing, moving, living organism affected by an infinite other ever-changing, moving organisms. It's crazy. Fortunately, there's a method to this madness. Actually, there are lots of different methods to this madness, and there are tons of vocal coaches and courses available to help you with that stuff, so I'm not going to dive into it today. Instead, I'm going to talk about something that is very often overlooked and arguably even more important than being able to hit the right notes, and that is feeling. And more specifically, how to get the right tone and performance in order to properly project that feeling into your music. There are an infinite number of ways to deliver the same vocal line, but depending on your voice type, you can narrow these down significantly, and that's a good thing because you don't want to be stuck on the same line forever. But still, how do you choose the proper way of delivering it? I've compiled a list of a couple of questions that will help make that decision process easier for you. So, let's get down to it. What type of song is it? Is it happy, sad, funny, nostalgic, creepy, fast, slow? What kind of energy do you want to project? This question should help you figure out if you should be singing louder, softer, boomier, more aggressive and pronounced. Think about it. A love ballad will usually benefit from a more soft and intimate voice, while a hard rock song will want to be aggressive and in your face and powerful, and an epic opera will need a huge, boomy and resounding voice. Experiment with all those different types of vocal delivery and see which one fits best for your song. Does your accent matter? And if it does, should you change it? This is a very polarizing topic. I've met people with very, very thick accents that are really, really proud of them and what they represent, while others are trying desperately to lose theirs, and they sometimes get pissed off when you point it out to them. Either way, it doesn't matter if you're into either of those camps, the accent is a very, very important detail that you should pay attention to. And I should probably get out of here because the dogs... Hi there. Don't like me here. What even is that? Oh, come on, why is that? Okay, back on topic. So your accent is a very, very powerful tool when you want to deliver a feeling. If you want to represent a certain culture, then pay attention to the way those people talk and try to use that in your song. Or, on the opposite end of the spectrum, if you want your message to be broad and clear to a wide audience, then try to go for a more neutral and easier to understand accent. Also, maybe you probably want to portray different characters in your songs, and switching accents can be a really fun thing to do. Try that out. How is your diction? On an Eminem to mumble rap scale, you should try to figure out how clear or muddy your word pronunciation is, and if you should do something about it. This can really change how you appear, either sober or drunk or whatever else in your song. So think about it. Are you breathing the right way? This is one of the less obvious ones, but breathing is huge. Some people like to cut out all of their breaths from their recordings, and that's totally fine if that's your style. But you can do a lot in terms of vibe by adjusting the way you breathe. It's one of those hidden details that people don't really pay attention to, but it adds a lot to the immersion. Think about it. A love song, a ballad can benefit from a lot of soft breaths that are like someone whispering in your ear, while a hard rock song will probably be boosted by some heavy and hectic breaths. And the famous example of that is Lamb of God's Walk With Me in Hell. Listen to that and how hard Randy is breathing, particularly near the end of the song. It can also give you more credit in the hip-hop scene when people can actually hear your breaths when you tell them that you recorded the whole song in one take. Anyway, those are my thoughts on a couple of questions you should ask yourself before recording a vocal line, in order to obviously get more feeling and immersion into your song. I hope I've managed to help you out a little bit. Please let me know down in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe, leave a like, and all that jazz. Hit the bell thingy, and I'll see you next time. Rock and roll! On an Eminem to... There are an infinite number of ways to deliver the same line.